Hello, hello, welcome back. So today we're talking about Lawl Liquid Crystal. Part 1 of 3. So, I was going to make this 2 parts. I thought about it. There were a lot of things I thought about with this, honestly. I had a lot of plans when I came into this. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This is the Lawl that I was most anticipating to work on with this project. Like, just straight up. Like, this is the Lawl that I knew would be the hardest to talk about, and it's the Lawl I also wanted to talk about the most. For a lot of reasons. So, for the longest time, I haven't really, watched much of Lawl Liquid Crystal. I've kind of observed it from a distance, and I, for the longest time, had the strong belief that this Lawl kind of gets hated on a lot, but I like a lot of its ideas. I like a lot of its characters. And the box, I forget his name. I think it's how it is, the box. You got some good ideas. I like a lot of the characters picked. Not all of them, but some of them are good. I like the vibe. It's kind of got like a lot of bootleg characters, a lot of horror characters. Not ones you expect, but they feel very Lawl-esque. And that's probably the most positive I will say for a long time. Vox, I'm assuming, a lot of Lawl creators watch the videos I do on their characters and their Lawls. I am making a special note of this today. And normally I don't do this, but I think this is a very special occasion. And I want to make a note to you, the creator. Obviously, I make little notes in the video, but I'm doing this at the start, specifically. I want to say to you, Vox, I love this community. I love the Lawl community so much. I love talking about characters. I'm usually very good at seeing the vision and what a lot of people want to do. I am very, very patient. I am very flexible, even when a lot of people aren't. Like with LOLX, if you've seen that video, you know I am very, very forgiving. I have a lot of patience. You broke me. I am being completely 100% with you. I went into this project wanting to defend you the most. You broke me. Like, it was that bad. Like, this was bad. And, unfortunately, a lot of the characters I want to talk about are not in this part of the video. They will probably be in part 2. So, I wanted to go into this part specifically. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to just say, like, Vox, if it seems like I'm being very negative or very hostile or even like very rude, I want to be completely straight with you. I am not trying to do that. This whole series is meant to be about giving critiques and giving, like, this acknowledgement of where things could be improved. And unfortunately, I'm in a very tough spot here where there is just like especially this first part was very tough to do. Like, I wanted to go into this and say, oh, this first part, the Lawl was just getting started. The second part had some good ideas, some mixed bags, and the third part, it kind of petered out. That's not what happened here. So if it seems like I'm being very negative, that's not my intention. I want you to be just understanding that I'm just being completely honest and thorough with you about how I feel about these things. I don't like to mince words. I'm generally like a nice person, but if I feel like I don't like something, I'm going to be honest with you. And so I hope it doesn't really, make you feel too bad when I, start critiquing everything. I don't want you to want to quit making Lawl. I want this to make you want to do better. I want this to make you want to fix what you have and come back even stronger, So, as I say that, I want to be clear. I think Lawl Liquid Crystal is, in many ways, worse than Lawl X. This was genuinely miserable for me to work on for this first part. This was terrible. Like, I was literally I could not handle this. This was like terrible for me because even with just the first moveset, I thought this would be. I had to flip my entire script on its head because it was just that fucking bad. It was not fun, and I felt terrible because I didn't want the first video to be a shit show. I didn't want to be mean. I didn't want to be aggressive. I didn't want to be hostile, but I also don't want to lie. So unfortunately, I had to carry this thought process throughout this entire thing. So I was like, no, okay, I'm just starting at the beginning. This is going to be very, very rough. So everyone, please be patient with that. You know, if it seems like I'm very all over the place, I'm sorry. This is just what happened. And this is what I had to deal with. Unfortunately, though, we're not getting into the first moveset yet. Because you know what? We have a problem. The problem with this Lawl doesn't even start with the first moveset. So, this whole project, I've been, you know, usually whenever I do this stuff, I link the playlists in the video description because I know I want to give back to the creator and say, hey, you know, go and watch their stuff. This was probably my biggest pet peeve working on this project, is that not even the playlist is organized. Like, every Lawl I've seen organizes their playlist by when they came out or by the year or something, anything. This Lawl playlist sucks. It's terrible. Like, Best SpongeBob was like the first pick, and he's like number, like, what is it, like number 5. And then the Bite Victim, who had like a moveset remake, his first moveset wasn't even on the tier list. The remake is like 18 spots down. So it was like that for the whole thing. Every character was out of order. It was a mess. I couldn't tell who came out first. So I had to literally look at every single individual video up myself in order from the tier list. I had to use the tier list to figure out what order you release things in. There are Lawls made by kids who organize their playlists better than that. And I'm sorry for, like, that, unfortunately, is setting the mood for this whole thing. A lot of this Lawl is just that. It's like, there are these things you could do, you could fix. It'd be little things that would have made everything, fantastic. I would love this. That's going to be the mood that carries through to the first moveset. We're not even getting the first moveset yet. It was that. The playlist is what starts this. So we're getting with the first character. Bite Victim. So you know what? Again, when I started working on this project, I started with a Bite Victim, and I had to flip my entire script around because it was just that bad. But it's not what you might think, you know? If you go and watch the original video, not the moveset remake that came out a year after, but the original moveset for Bite Victim, it was fine. I don't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty simple, you know? It's the first moveset, you know, it's a very simple character design. It was probably, like, you know, easier to work with than most characters would be for first movesets. His neutral B was a really short range flashlight stun thing. Side B is like a weird move. I can understand why it got changed later. It didn't really feel like it fit perfectly. He summons like another taller hitbox thing that does like a random status effect that can also be stunned. But, like, you know, it also did like poison, slipping, etc., etc. Up B was a pretty bad recovery, but for the time, it's kind of like what you would expect. Law Nova did that a lot back then. Your recoveries weren't the best. And down B was like a simple trap move, you know, like, it was fine. Like, it wasn't crazy, it wasn't anything, but a start of a Law doesn't need to be that crazy. It just needs to, you know, work. And then I was like, no, okay, this won't be so bad. And I looked at, okay, there's a moveset remake. I'll go and check that out. That moveset remake is fucking terrible. It is awful. I don't know what happened here. And it sucks because, like, not much was technically changed. The best way I can describe it is just more lines were added to everything. And that just completely ruined the character, like, entirely. neutral B, it starts literally right from the first move is the neutral B. It's still the flashlight move. It's still a short range stun. It's nothing. It doesn't seem crazy, but now he has a weird meter thing that appears on the top left of the screen. I'll even like bring up a screenshot for this because I actually looked these up for this video. I had to look these up and post them in because I was just like that flabbergasted. I was like, okay, that's simple. It's weird that it's not on the UI, and then you remember, oh wait, this moveset came out a year later, and this Lawl doesn't have UI. Why? Why does it not have UI? That's like a thing that every Lawl does. Even like throw some Lawl back at him. Fix that after a couple movesets. This Lawl just didn't have UI for some ungodly reason. So you only have like this meter thing that only shows up when you use the move. And I even looked up like later movesets. This thing is never on the UI when it was added. So okay, that's great. And depending on how long you hold the attack, the opponents can be stunned for longer. Okay, you know, that's fair. I guess you can stun for more. How do you feel about 20-second stuns? Like, why? That is, no. What the fuck is this? Like, oh my god, like, where did this come from? Dude, like, no. Oh my god, like, this is like insane. Like, no. And it's balanced, like, oh yeah, if you use a little bit of meter, like, depending on how much, no. Not a good idea. This is not a good idea. Like, it was perfectly harmless before, but there is no world in a Smash game where you should stun an opponent for, like, more than, like, 5 seconds. 20 seconds is a long time for any game. Like, that's like almost a quarter of a minute. Like, Jesus criminy. Like, at that point, you don't even need a stun. That's just like, it's a thing now. You can just attack them. Like, you don't, oh my god. It doesn't get much better because now the side B is also like a stun, basically. Instead, it's changed to be like a physical counter move that inflicts a stun, which is okay, great. Now we have, like, instead of, like, you know, 3 stun, like 2 stuns, that one was like short range and one was like a trap. Like, they were balanced out. And then like side B originally had a chance to stun, but it wasn't guaranteed, so it was balanced out by that. Now you just have 3 stuns whenever that you can also bounce around between them and just stun lock an opponent into oblivion. That doesn't sound fun. And you know what makes it even worse is the side B. There's also a chance it won't be a counter when you really need it to be. Sometimes you'll get a random heal move, but it's not a counter anymore. So again, you're just getting hit now. Whoops. Sorry. Yeah, and somehow the up B, which was already a really bad recovery, got worse. Like, I've never seen a recovery like that was already pretty bad, it get nerfed in range. Like, the horizontal range, it became less. Oh my god. And then I found out that, like, you know, this is, like, there's a list of characters that are getting an update patch. Spoiler, almost all of these characters need update patches, including this one. He wasn't on it. Jesus. He really needs it. Like, oh my god, like, that was terrible. And then after I watched that, I was genuinely debating on, like, stopping, like, in my video watching for the day. I didn't want to take notes anymore, because I was just that miserable. I was like, oh my god, is this what I'm gonna have to deal with? Oh man, like, this was just not good. Like, I'm going to put him in honestly. I don't know how low he go. I'm probably actually going to order these. I'm not really feeling crazy about it. We'll see. So, not a great start. Thankfully, Marionette's not too bad. I kind of like Marionette, you know. This is probably a more limited FNAF character to work with. I kind of respect the choice. It was, you know, of the time he was relevant, I guess. But yeah, so neutral B is actually kind of a cool move. So, he pulls out a present in front of him, And it can be good or bad, which means that, you know, it might be a healing item, or, you know, just instantly heal you, or it'll be an explosive thing or something. You'll throw out the opponent, deal damage. I like this idea and concept. I like the idea of him just holding out a present, like, ooh, what's this gonna be? And, like, you know, you kind of have to, like, you know, am I gonna approach right now or not? Try to go ahead. It's cool. I actually like this. You know, for a puppet, I like it. I think him being a more bait and punish-esque character is kind of like what I first think of. So having like a little thing you just hold out is just, it's funny. It's goofy. I like it. Side B is, he summons like a puppet character that can do a whole bunch of things, including like a special attack that with their neutral B. The problem is, like, because this is on the side B, it's a little strange. Like, I don't know how you activate a neutral B while using the side B. I feel like this should just be on the neutral B instead. It just feels a lot better there. It wouldn't feel less cumbersome to control if you were controlling this character. And the up B is a little bit of a bad recovery, but I do like the idea that if you can like use it to grab someone from above you and then just start throwing them around. It is used with a nunchuck, which is just a little random. And also you can't throw them down, which is a really random limitation. I didn't really get that. Someone made a comment that, oh, maybe it's because like you were afraid of it being like AVGN and Power Glove thing from Lawl original. And I'm like, if there's one thing I've learned from looking at movesets, it's just like down is not the only direction. You can kill someone from any direction if you want, so you might as well just like line it up with anything. You know, don't limit the player for no reason. I can kind of see though, because like with Freddy here, with the Phantom Freddy thing in the side B, he can like do a lot of stuff. So maybe you could like infinite somebody. I don't know. I can sort of see it, but also like, And down B is like, man, it's so close. It's so close to being perfection. It's the right move, in my opinion, I think. It's just not the right effect. So he uses the music box, but it just puts you to sleep. And I'm like, oh, come on. Why the sleep effect? We didn't need that. I love the idea that, you know, you could make it you should make it a thing where, like, you can slowly wind it and it'll gradually, like, increase your speed. Because, like, that's the whole thing, right? The puppet, like, once he, like, you know, the puppet box is unwound, he leaps at you, he goes super fast. So the idea you want to do is you want to, you know, wind the music box yourself, get those speed buffs, and the opponent starts to run at you, and then you go, ooh, present, ooh, what's it gonna be, ooh, and then now the opponent has to stop in their place and just make a really quick decision, like, because, like, what if it's an explosive? What if it heals? I don't know, you gotta take that chance. And it's like, it's a funny interaction. I like it. There's potential there. The character feels like it's something, but it doesn't do that. Also, the final smash is like kind of whatever. Like, it doesn't even have Phantom Marionette show up. Like, what the hell? Like, that's like why didn't he show up at the end? It only shows up the other animatronics. It sucks. But I mean, overall, Marionette is definitely the one out of this first match I like the most, I would say. I actually liked him a lot. There's potential here. I saw he's getting a remake. I do hope some things are tweaked around a little bit. He's definitely close to, you know, being good for me. He goes in there, neat. And then we have Flowey. So this is probably the first character, again, we are getting into where I will have to just start discussing the long-term problems of Lawl Liquid Crystal that will frequently appear as I discuss this series. And one of the most infamous Lawl Liquid Crystal-ism, bad habit, whatever you want to call it, is showing, I mean, it's telling and not showing. That is a massive fucking problem. That is throughout this entire Lawl, and it infuriates me to no end. This Lawl loves to put text on the screen and not tell you or show you how it works in motion. And the whole point of Lawl is to animate. It's not fucking animation. You're putting text on a screen. Like, that's why whenever we animate things, we put text over the characters animating at like the top or the bottom, or even use captions. Like, some people do that. And unfortunately, this becomes a common problem. And it appears up a lot here with the neutral B. Not a neutral B, but just like in general. So neutral B, what does Flowey do? He puts the ring up around him, and it's kind of just explains like, oh yeah, it's like Mega Man Leaf thing. The problem is the pellets don't spin, so it looks a little stiff. And when he shoots them out, they don't disappear. He doesn't get less of them; they're just gone. They just shoot them like projectile. But it also doesn't seem like it's a shield either. It's not explained how it works. He just gets it. We don't get to see a point of walking into it and taking damage. It just, it doesn't explain anything. And he can also shoot the whole ring out, but like, okay, like, it's whatever. And then the side B, he shoots the big vine grab, and it does increase damage if you charge it. The problem is, again, we don't know how much damage. It just tells us, oh yeah, it does increase damage, but how much? And again, we have no HUD, so we don't know how much damage these characters do. So, again, we'll just have to take your word on it. And also, you can aim it, but the less time you aim it, the less vines you have, which is just... why? That feels like a weird, like an error or something? I don't know. Maybe that's just... I don't know. Up B is like okay recovery. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good, honestly, compared to the last two recoveries. Down B is weird. He can teleport with it, and it also says it's a counter. This is another problem we'll come up to much later, where this law likes to call things counters, but they're not actually counters. So what he does is he puts down the save thing, and he can use it to teleport back to it, but also he can do it like right as he's getting hit, and he'll take the hit, but he saves the move, and he can use it again back at the opponent. That's not a counter. That's like, he just gets hit. He's like, oh, I have your move now. You're still taking damage. You're still like, we don't know how much damage the move did because again, there's no HUD. But you know, it showed him getting knocked back, so he's not like deflecting it like a Marth counter. He's just getting hit and absorbing the move to do it back again later. He's just like you can't even call it a Kirby copy thing. It's just weird. He's also a codec character, which just I mean, I don't really get that. I've never really liked the fact that he's a codec character. It doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, like, Flowey isn't self-aware. That's not how the character works. Like, I don't know that much about Undertale, but I'm pretty sure that's the thing. Like, he's just aware of, like, he's just vaguely, like, aware of, like, loops and shit. He's not aware of the fourth wall and what other characters are. I saw one of my friends made a suggestion that, it would be cool if instead, how it worked is he could have conversations or taunts with the opponent, and insult them, and they would, like, you know, they would comment back or something, and maybe they have their own lines or whatever. Like, I don't know, it's just like, that feels more in character for Flowey to just, like, taunt the opponent and make fun of them because he's an asshole, instead of, like, whatever that was before. Honestly, I was debating on putting him in, like, he's knee. I'm thinking I'm gonna put him lower. I'll probably put him like no. Again, like there's like this so much that's kind of like, like it feels like it's just weird. Also, you probably didn't notice, but I put Best down here just because I feel like, you know, they shouldn't shoot all the way up like that. They are just meant to be joke characters. They're not just meant to be crazy. Also, Patrick. Patrick's here because funny. MS Paint guy. So we have another problem. We have, from what I have heard, is just an original character. This is completely made of. He's not even like an emphasis on like MS Paint isms or MS Paint stuff. He is just MS Paint guy. I kind of hate this character. For reasons we'll get into later, but this character kind of just feels like it was made so it was easier to work with other characters. I don't like this character at all. He's not, he is like nothing. Like, he is neutral B, he shoots a random shape that takes forever to shoot. Side B is a backwards movement option that applies different debuffs depending on the color. You know what? This is also another thing we'll get into, is that this Law likes to do this a lot, this random effect thing. where a character can't take advantage of anything. So one of the side effects the move can do is that he'll do, you know, the opponent will take more damage against fire attacks if he hits with one of them. Does he have any fire attacks in this moveset? Nope. So this is useless. We'll see that'll happen a lot more, as you'll eventually see. It slows you with poisons, and one makes you heavier, but again, it doesn't say how much. It just says you're heavier. You'll take your word on it. Up B is like it's like he just throws a tether out. We don't see how far it goes. It doesn't show how fast it zips him in. He just throws a line out, and it's lazy. Down B is a frame 1 reflector that exists for 5 frames, and the visual area, like what the reflector is, isn't even accurate. It's literally on top of him, so that's great. And the final smash is either overpowered or just sucks. I genuinely don't know if this is like meant to be a joke character or not. It feels like he might be meant to be a joke character. I don't know. I don't like him. He sucks. This character is there's nothing to analyze with this character. He just kind of does some random stuff with MS Paint effects. There's nothing here. Like, why is he here? We'll find out why he's here later. Don't worry about that. As far as I'm aware, this is a joke character. This is the first character, though, that in this entire series where I just got so upset. I skipped a special move because it was just making me that unhappy. This was not fun to watch. You know, a joke character is meant to be like, you know, I'm supposed to laugh at it or think, oh, haha, that's bad. Like, there's something there. This character is none of those things. He is just slow and blah, and then he's just not entertaining or anyway. He's also just basically a content farm character. He's just a slot character. Like, he's nothing. And it doesn't help that his render, the weird thing, isn't, like, ever used anywhere in the moveset. Even though, like, his main art style here with the realistic thing, that's what he's supposed to... I don't know. I don't get what this character is supposed to be. And honestly, I was debating on just throwing this character in, like, not a fan, because I genuinely just don't like this character that much. I hate this character more than, like, this dude. Like, that, it was that bad. Like, it was, like, I was gaining no... Like, there was at least a special move in this dude's kit. I don't even remember his name. Again, I always forget his name, but there was something to laugh at here. There was nothing here that brought me joy. He's a bottom of best here. Not even a funny joke character. Terrible. Now we have Undying. So I have a lot of opinions about Undying as a character, and I'll give a quick story. So just because I feel like you know I should probably say it. I am probably one of the few people in the world that had a very bad experience with Undertale and Undying in particular. So I just don't like the boss as a whole. Like it just that made me hate the game entirely. I still respect what the game is and everything. So I can if you like Undying, that's cool. I'm not gonna hate on you for it. But to have back-to-back an original character, a content farm character, now I have to review Undying is not fun. But I'll be fair. I'll be fair. Neutral B is a stance move. I've already made my opinions on stance moves, but like it's okay. It gives her a full moveset. She has a projectile that has like she can only use it 3 times before she needs a full minute to get any of them back. Let that sink in. A full minute to use a projectile. There's no other projectiles in her moveset either, by the way. This is all she has. Awesome. Side B, it makes her do the courage thing. It's also instantly first displayed on a stage with no color. What made you think that was a good idea? It's also compares it to Black Mage, Super Smash Flash 2, but no. It calls it a counter. It's not a counter. It's not like whatever the hell you think Black Mage's thing is. And also, not everyone has played Black Mage in Super Smash Flash 2. Whenever you do something like this, You need to explain a character that people can actually recognize. Not like a random character from a random fan game that not everyone has played, they're just watching your video. And then Up B is like, okay, I like it. It was kind of funny. It is fan art though. I feel like you could have just spread that and it probably would have been fine. Down B is another counter. Why? It's like an actual counter this time compared to the side view, which kind of said it was a counter, but it wasn't. But still, why? Also, 3 of these moves look exactly the same. The taunts are also kind of fan art. Final Smash uses fan art. It doesn't show any of the attacks. It just says a lot what you can do. Generally, I say, you know, if you're gonna use fan art for something, yeah, you better make good use of it. And this moveset doesn't really make good use of it. Don't use fan art. I at least think she, like, was, I don't know, maybe she was, like, I think she's just kind of she's, like, whatever, but she's not, like, aggressively, like, broken, like, the kid is. Honestly, I'll put him down with Weiss, because, yeah, Weiss was especially broken, too. Oh, no. If it doesn't set in, like, how unfun this is to talk about, like, this is gonna be the one that, like, really sets it in. I'm sorry. This is just not, like, these characters are just really not good. And now we have to get in probably one of the most infamous characters in this community. Vault Boy. I have watched this moveset already once before. I know what he is. And yeah, I can see why he's bad. But I think even now, after actually playing a Fallout game, I have a new dislike of this character on top of that, now that I know how, like, bad it is. So I would, of all the movesets on this tier list as a whole, I think at the very least, this is probably in the bottom 5. Like, maybe not in this, like, I mean, on this tier list, there are other movesets that exist in the Lawl community, but, like, on this list specifically, this character is bad. It's really bad. So what is a Vault Boy? Well, the first thing you'll notice really quickly is that even though he is a blue, and he's a very colorful, toony character, all of his sprites are in black and white. You couldn't even color them? Like, I mean, he's not a very complicated character to color, I'll be real. Like, if you really wanted to, it's just flat blues, yellows. If you made MS Paint guy, and you're willing to make an original character, why aren't you doing it for this guy? It just feels really lazy. I'm gonna be really honest with you. This is also the first, I mean, no, it's not the first method to really include a HUD, but it shows you for way longer. Because apparently they thought it would be a great idea. They give this character so many special moves. So how this character works is he has 2 normal moves that don't change. Up B is a super slow recovery. It kind of sucks. It looks lame. Down B switches his neutral B and side B for 7 different movesets. Let me be clear about that. He has 7 different sets of a neutral B and a side B. And they all generally interact with each other, so you have to memorize all of them. And I took notes for all of them, because I wanted to make clear, you know, what is wrong with this character? A lot of things are wrong with this character. So we're going to go through all of them. Strap in. So, they're all based on the stats from the Fallout game, you know, because Fallout is inherently, you know, it's a modern shooter thingy. Or not modern so much, but it is like an RPG at the end of the day is the point. So there's a lot of, like, stats and such. The first one we'll go into is strength. The neutral B is just a villager pocket. He can pocket 5 items, and he manages it with a weird roundabout item with a D-pad. Okay. Strength side B is, it just sucks. It's a weird angled strong hitting move that can miss, like, majority of characters in Lawl, even in this roster. Like, it's just terrible. It also doesn't say how much damage it does, so we just don't know how strong it even is. And that's strength. Then we have perception, side B. I mean, perception, neutral B is a steal move, which is just like, okay, I guess now you can take an item when it's off the opponent? Okay. Side B is the most offensive thing in this kit, honestly, for me, because now that I played Fallout, I know how much this sucks. So, what this move is it's a targeting move based on an actual just straight-up mechanic from Fallout. And it takes the UI where you target an opponent's body part, and a number will show up, showing what the likelihood is of you hitting it and doing an effective damage. Like, it's really strong. And it shows it in the moveset. It just says, oh, you target a body part, you'll do extra damage. And it doesn't explain more than that. There wasn't even an attempt to explain, oh, what's the number do? Oh, like, what happens if you hit the part? Nothing is explained. Like, you could have at least, like, done something here. Like, you could have explained, like, the numbers. Like, the numbers are just kind of thrown in there. Like, just, no. Like, you kind of just took a thing from Fallout and just put it on the character. And then, Endurance, neutral B is just a super stupid reflector. It just puts his arms out. Doesn't really animate anything. It reduces damage, but it doesn't say how much. Side B is a short range grapple that heals him. You can shake out of it. It's mostly fine. And Charisma, neutral B, is a stun that lags you forever, and you get to steal assist characters from the opponent. And you can make them do their side B, they do their neutral B, even though this is a neutral B. And so, and then side B to someone's dog, which is whatever. Intelligence, neutral B is just like a crafting move. It doesn't explain how the crafting works, what the recipes do, what items you need. And also, again, all these item moves are useless if your opponent has no items or projectiles. Great. And side B is summons an assist character, like the charm thing, but it doesn't explain what it does. It just shows it. Awesome. You know, showing and doing nothing with it. Agility, neutral B. If he gets close, he shoots you. Side B, he vanish. Luck gives you a random thing. Side B. This character fucking sucks. This is terrible. Like, this is just like, again, if you've seen this moveset, you already know how bad it is. Like, it's terrible. It's bad. It's not good. Like, this is just terrible. This is not even. This is functionally a bad moveset. It's a bad representation of a Fallout moveset. It's not fun to watch. It feels like it goes on forever. It's just not good. Also, before I forget, because I know someone told me to mention it, one of the music tracks using the Undying moveset also really sucks. Is just, I feel like that's a tendency for this Law as well. A lot of the music choices just are very. We have fucking best Pinkie Pie. As far as I'm aware, this isn't a Joe character. You know, again, this is again the first Law that made me ever, for the first time, just skip a special move because I just didn't want to watch it anymore. This is the first Law that made me skip a whole fucking moveset because I hated it that much. This character, I don't, like, again, this is a toy thing, whatever, I don't really care. It's not my thing, but, like, you know, if you make a good moveset, I'll watch it, I guess. So then it opens up, literally the first thing you get is, oh, she can make a cupcake, and, you know, depending on what you absorb, you get a different thing. The first thing it shows is, ooh, you can make a fire cupcake. You know, was one of the things you can make. Awesome, great. A lot of fucking problems, though, because it's shown against a character which is the complete opposite of something that would have fire moves, aka the SpongeBob. Fucking why? Why? Why would you do that? It's no. And then it's just, it's not a fire cupcake, it's just a dragon fruit cupcake. Like, ugh! Like, this character infuriates me. Like, I hate this character. Like, genuinely, this might be one of my least favorite characters. Like, the second I just jumped into that moveset, I was losing my mind. Because, like, what made you think this character was a good idea this early in the Law after this SpongeBob? Like, we've had just a string of garbage. Like, this Law has just been getting started, and it is just fumbling over and over and over and over. And it just, why? Nah, like, I hate this character. Not a fan. Like, I'm not even gonna rank. I don't even want to like watch this Moveset. Like, I don't care if it's like not a joke character. Like, this is just like no. This wasn't fun. This was just bad. Like, you'd have to work really hard to make me like want to watch this character again. Like, you need to like just. I just don't. No. That's the first time I tapped out. I just like there were just so many things going on. Like it just no. And then we have the next character, which is an empty slot character. And from what I've heard, the empty slot was literally just a bunch of FNAF shit. So like awesome, great. You didn't even have a variety of things. You just picked like gold. Man, whatever. And then Golden Freddy's moveset it fucking sucks. Like, this is supposed to be an empty slot character, man. Don't you want to give back to the people who actually went out of their way to vote on an empty slot? That's what an empty slot character is supposed to be. Like, people vote on something they like, and you give back by making a cool moveset for them to enjoy. And, you know, I genuinely didn't even think this was an empty slot character, because this just looks like a character that would just be in this Lawl, in general. Like, I expected to have been someone in, like, the middle or the third row. This is the only empty slot character. This early. And then, like, it's his moveset just kind of is whatever. He's made animated with Gmod stuff similar to Puppet, but it kind of is just terrible. He doesn't really move. Neutral B is a stun that can't be used again for 10 seconds, so awesome, great, you know. Bite Victim can have a 20-second stun, and you know, all he has is like a meter that he can just get back. But he can also just alternate between the 15-second cooldowns if he wants to, and you don't have to worry about it. And side B is just like, he places a poster down, you come on one at a time. It might create a child spawn, because like, you can't be near the poster to trigger the spawn, because otherwise he can't use his neutral B, which is just a weird oversight. Up B is a teleport, but it barely does anything. It's really lazy looking. Down B is just a whole bunch of freaking text, and it just has a 10% chance it won't do anything. Honestly, I would even say this is not a fan. Do I put it not a fan? Because like this is like borderline nothing, the character. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it. This is not good, especially because this was an empty slot character. Like, I know Shaggy and Scooby were also empty slot characters, but, you know, at least there was something there. Like, I'll put him with MJ because he's kind of just, like, they're both very bog standard, what you would expect, but there's just, like, nothing there. And then we have Toon Qbert. Toon Qbert he's simpler. He's kind of just okay, though. Neutral B and side B. Neutral B, he shoots a bunch of projectiles. He can only have 12 at once, and he needs to restock by using side B to absorb items or projectiles to get more. If the opponent doesn't have projectiles or items, damn, I guess you're kind of out of luck. Down B is just kind of like a weird hopping move. Recovery was okay. He's just kind of okay. Yeah. And then we have Ouija. Okay, so unfortunately this is just the beginning of the part where like I'm running out of things to say. Like these last couple characters, just like there's nothing. There's almost nothing to talk about. Ouija, there's at least a little bit more to talk about. He's basically just Crusade's moveset in a lot of ways, but like it's just very whatever. His idol doesn't look really good. I know he got a new idol later, but also just kind of looks really weird. It doesn't really feel fitting for him. Like, a lot of moves are just similar to what he has in Crusade, but they're not as good. It's just whatever. I feel like this is kind of criminal to Ouija as a whole, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff you could use in YouTube poops from Ouija. Like, it's just, he is a YouTube poop character. Like, there is something here. I'm putting him not a fan. I was going to put him in but, you know, I'm putting him not a fan. And then we have this character, Toon Raytana. You know, she has a lot of weird stuff. She has a move that uses where it makes up a stat. Some Lawls started doing this, where they'll just make up a stat for a character. You know, we did it a couple of times at the start, but this is not really something we should do anymore. This is something that everyone talks about. Don't make a move that just revolves around a stat that you have to scale for every single character in Law. Just don't do that. Unless it's like a wide-ranging stat. For here, it's just kind of like tolerance. I don't know. It's just dumb. And then side B is a double stun, where like it just like you stun someone with a regular effect, and then you just do a horny stun. But you can't cancel out of it. It's just all in one thing. Why do you need two stuns together? What if the horny stun is worse than the first one? It ruins the move. She's just really just an inferior version of Bite Victim in a lot of ways, where all of her stuff is just stun, 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 stun. Not a fan. It's just like, eh. And then we have Zago. I know Zago got a new idol recently. I will say, it looks really good. I like it a lot. It doesn't really, matter with the moveset, though. So, the neutral be darkness. It depends on what your darkness stat is. And it's weird, because, like, a lot of his moves operate on the fact that you should have, like, the symbol or whatever. But it only affects characters with immense darkness, which isn't that many in Law. And it just prevents you from using all your special moves, or special moves you use last, and it can also include your recovery. It just doesn't, awesome, great. You don't have a recovery move now. That's not fun. Side V it's simple, it's fine. It's a projectile trap move. Down B takes an entire minute to use again. Again, that's not good. A whole minute to use anything is never acceptable, ever. And then MS Paint Guy was used for the final smash, and then this is where I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure MS Paint Guy was just used so you could have unique sprites for moves like these, because it wasn't shown on another character that you didn't have to edit for. It's just lazy. It's not good. I don't like it. And that character, that kind of is just what this MS Paint character is. It's just like used stuff. It's like the example character that can talk and do things. It's just, no, don't do that. It's not really a good use of the darkness stat. It's just, I'm not a big fan. Hopefully an update patch is better. I'm gonna talk about these two together, because they have fucking nothing. This is like the point where I literally started losing it. Like, I was baffled. Like, you have a fucking Goomba that is a DLC character. This is the only Law that ever, like, say, oh, what if I make it DLC characters? I don't know what in the world would convince you to think making a DLC thing is a good idea. I think it's dumb. It doesn't work. And you have just like think about it for a second. Oh, this is a downloadable content character that you can add to your Law, or might not be part of the main thing. Like, no matter how you phrase it, again, think about what this character is that you are making a moveset for. You're making a moveset for a fucking Goomba. And it sucks. It's terrible. It is so boring. I literally wrote down like no fucking notes for it because there was nothing to talk about. Like, the only thing I could talk about, that was just like the neutral B uses like a thing from a Super Mario RPG. Awesome, great. The final smash is from Sticker Star, the greatest game to base a final smash on. Thank you. And the up B doesn't even fucking animate. What the hell is this? Why is this DLC? This actually makes me upset. Like, this is fucking terrible. This is like literally nothing, the character. And really, as you think it can't get any worse, Terzi comes out. And Terzi is somehow worse! How do you do that? Like, she doesn't animate at all. I get the point that like Homestuck characters are supposed to animate. They have weird animation styles. They don't have arms or anything. But like, there's something there, man. There are things there you can do. Like, let me look at this. 139. Like, John was already out at this point. Carcat was already out at this point. Like, and they animate perfectly fine. Like, she sucks. Like, her neutral B, she's not even animating at all. The little red wave moves around. Oh, she smells. You couldn't do anything at all? And then the side B is basically just a side tilt. There's nothing there. There's no weight to the thing. There was no attempt throughout this moveset. And then, like, this goes up here. I want you to take a good look at this. Now, I'm going to actually, like, shrink my screen a tiny bit so you can see all of this. Like, look at this. What is this? This works on a hue system? Red? What? Where did you think this is a good idea? Holy shit! Yeah, this is nonsensical. Like, I was losing my mind. And like, this is like, what is this? This is terrible! Not a fan. Both of these are terrible. If fucking Vault Boy, if there weren't actually bad movesets that are they're like fundamentally flawed and like did not work, if they didn't exist, they would be at the bottom. But these are just nothing. Like, there's like, I don't fucking know. This sucks. Like, this was, oh my god, like, I don't know what could convince you to think this is a good idea. Like, Homestuck is, like, such a great idea. Like, you can do so many characters, and I know this character is interesting. Like, she's a blind character. She's like, and she has the cane in her side B, and it's the weakest fucking hitting move. And, like, like I said, it is literally just a side tilt. There is nothing here. And Goomba, like, all of his taunts are just, like, barely anything. Like, the first one is literally just his idol moving around from, like, the Superstar Saga. And, like, duh! It's nothing! There's nothing else you get the picture! Oh my god! Like, there were barely any characters in Not a Fan. Like, these characters are genuinely nothing. Like, whenever I talk about Lawl X, I can at least see what Agito was trying to do. I can see an idea or a vision of how the character is supposed to work, even if it is broken, if it's not animated well, or it just doesn't really make sense. You know, this is literally some of the worst movesets I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I came out of this, like, you know, I wanted to have a lot of faith for Lawl Liquid Crystal, and this was just not good. I have to watch this entire roster, so I have to get into more. Like, this is literally not even halfway into this Lawl. For context, Terzi was the 15th moveset, and she is nothing. She is basically a nothing character. Do you know what the 15th moveset was for Lawl X? It was a bridged Merrick. And do you know what a bridged Merrick is? Agito at least had a fucking idea of what to do. He had something here. He decided, you know, okay, I'm gonna make Merrick a boss character. And he can label someone like a, like he uses the IQ mechanic, which is an existing mechanic. And then, like, there is something here. Like, you can make someone a Steve. Like, there is something here to analyze. There was a vision for this character. There was, like, something here. There is nothing in a lot of these Lawl Liquid Crystal movesets that I was just struggling to say anything, because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't say anything. There's no personality in these characters. And it sucks, because a lot of these characters aren't nothing characters. These are big characters. You have fucking Ouija here. You have, like, a Homestuck character. You have Vault Boy. You have, like, FNAF characters. Like, what is this? This is bad. And, oh my god, it infuriates me the fact that these Lawls were like this. Like, I've never seen any of these before. Like, I saw Vault Boy, I knew it was bad. I just assumed it was like a Shaggy thing, or, you know, it was kind of bad, like, it was the exception and not the rule. This is what we are expecting for this entire Lawl. I am going to be completely honest with you. It does not get much better. And I have a lot of things to say about a lot of the middle characters. Those are the ones I wanted to talk about. But unfortunately, I can't just skip to the characters I want to talk about. I have to talk about everything. So, after we get to the ones I do want to talk about, we have to talk about more characters too. So, I hope you enjoyed. I'm not excited. But unfortunately, I knew this was happening. I knew this was coming. I knew this was not going to be fun, unfortunately. That is just part of my job when I do this. I have to look at all these characters. And, you know, once I get these out of the way, hopefully, in the future, I can look forward to a wonderful update patch for all these characters that makes them fun and engaging and wonderful characters properly. So with that, I hope you enjoyed my insanity. This was hard to do. I knew I was gonna get mad. Unfortunately, that's just kind of like, you know, what you're gonna have to deal with for these next few parts. But again, I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to be, you know, harsh or hostile. This is all meant to be criticism, my honest opinions. And unfortunately, this is just the way Law Liquid Crystal is. So all I can do is, you know, say what's bad and hope it changes. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July. If it, you know, it's happened already. I imagine it's already happening for some people. I don't know when this is coming out. So yeah. Bye-bye.